Hello and welcome to the seventh episode of the Django course. In this episode, you'll learn how to make forms that people can fill up and they can sign up for accounts. Then later, we'll learn how to make sure they can log in, they can post reviews or comments, for example, for these posts, for instance. So this is what we are going to learn today. Now I'm going to use Control C to stop the server, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create an app that is only for the accounts. So the way you create an app in Django was by using this command, python manage.py start app, all in one word, and let's just call it accounts. So now a folder has been created here called accounts. Now that we have created an app, we need to introduce it in our settings of our main project. Right under installed apps, we're going to give it the name of our accounts app. That's it. So now we've made sure that Django knows that this app exists in our project. We are going to also create a path for it. And the path is going to be this. Whenever someone goes to our website.com/accounts/ login, sign up, whatever. And those whatever things we are going to include inside the app itself. So I'm just going to say include it inside our accounts.urls. So I'm going to create a urls.py file here inside the accounts, and there I'm going to make sure I include the paths for different URLs. So when someone goes to my website.com/accounts/ sign up or login, whatever, it's accounted for here. Okay, now let's go to our accounts and let's create that file that I just talked to you about, which is urls.py. And what this file need is, well, let's just say from Django.urls import path, and from the same directory here import views, here this views, and then let's define our URL patterns. So our URL patterns are going to be, well, a path that is going to go to our sign up page. So whenever someone goes to website.com/accounts/ sign up, and remember to put this / as well. One function inside the views should start, and we're going to call it also sign up, and we are going to give it a name of sign up. Let's get rid of these, and that's it for our URL patterns. So now we are going to define the function sign up inside our views. So let's just close this off, and this, and inside the views, inside our accounts, we already have imported render, perfect. But we also need to import, what is it, user creation form as well. And let's see, Amazon, come on Amazon. Okay, Amazon is not going to help, so I would just write it down from Django.contrib. Oh yeah, here finally. So from Django.contrib.auth.forms import user creation form. So that is the form that we are going to use to create users. And let's define a function, and the function is basically the same as we define in our URLs, that is sign up, right? So we're going to call it also sign up. That's it. And that sign up takes a request, a HTTP request as a parameter, and it's going to create an instance of the user creation form class that we imported. We can actually get rid of this. Let's just say and make it turn into one line. So right here, it's going to return this. It's going to render a request and this signup.html page, which does not exist yet. And this is going to be called a form. So now in our HTML page, we're going to have access to a key form, which is an instance of user creation form, basically. So now we're going to have access to this in our signup HTML. Now let's go inside our accounts folder. Let's create another folder. Let's call it templates. And inside this templates, let's create a file. Let's call it signup.html. And here, since we have access to that form now, let's just use double curly braces and form. That's it, nothing else. Now that we've saved this, inside the terminal, try to run the server, python manage.py run server. And if you go here, /accounts, remember, /sign up, and I should see the form. And this is a form. Look at this, awesome, username, password confirmation. To see what these fields are named, you can simply right click, click inspect, and you can see the username is called, well, username, the password, the first one is called password 1. This is name, and password 2. So when you want to grab the value that the user inputs in this field, you can refer to it as password 1, and this one is password 2, and this one is username. All right, the styling is a bit off. We're going to make sure it's okay. So if we just add an as_p, it will kind of arrange it in a paragraph way. So let's just do it here. So .as_p, save, go back and refresh. And now it looks a bit better. But we're going to change it though, so no worries. Okay, so now we have this. Now that we have this form, let's make it much better. Instead of only this, we are going to use our template, our base.html that we already have, where there's a nav bar and there's a footer. So I'm going to, where is that? Here. I'm going to say extends, and we've talked about this before, base.html. So I'm going to use the structure of base.html. There's a footer and the nav bar and all that. And down here, I'm going to use the block content. So this is where our content is going to go, and this is where it's going to end. So in between these two tags, we are going to put our content for our sign up form. Now the content is going to be a bootstrap card, so it has a class of card. Let's add like a margin bottom of, I don't know, 4 to it. Then we're going to have a row. This is how you make bootstrap cards basically. And then just make an empty div here. And then we're going to have a card dash body like that. Inside the card body, let's have a card title. And that card title is going to be, well, actually it's going to be maybe, yeah, I don't know, sign up, something like that. After that, let's have a card text, so p.card-text, and this is going to be the form now. So we're going to have the form, and we are going to leave the action. We're not going to submit it to anywhere else, so we'll leave it for now. But the most important thing here is the post method, because we are going to send sensitive data to the server. So we are going to make sure that it is using post method, not get request, because get is for retrieving things from the data. For example, like searching for specific books or poems or whatever. But we are going to use post to send username, password, to create users. So that's why you're using this. Another very important thing, in every form you use using Django, try to include this token, CSRF_token. I talked about this in the previous episode. It prevents the security vulnerability that you might have. So that's for security measures. And now we are going to put our form that we just saw. inside this form. After this, we need a button to submit this form. So we're going to create a button which has the btn class of Bootstrap, and it's going to be btn-primary. So it's just blue, and sign up. And let's just give it a type of submit. Type is equal to submit, so that we know this is submit button. Okay, let's go back and refresh, and look, looks much better. So you can see that now maybe this one could be in a heading, and these help texts are not necessary, so we're going to get rid of them later. So let's just change the sign up as well. Where is that sign up? Here. Maybe you can put it like I don't know, H3. Here as well, H3. Okay. Yeah, much better. All right. So now that we have this, let's see what next step is. The next step should be creating a user. So when someone goes here, chooses a username and a password, we should make sure that first the passwords match. If they do match, then we're going to put this username in the database along with the password. We're going to save it. Later we'll check, what if the passwords do not match? What if the username already exists in the database? So we're going to check for these. But first, let's just check if the passwords match, and we're going to save the user upon this click. Okay. So let's go to our views.py for the same accounts, and right here inside the same thing, I'm going to make sure that only if request dot method is equal to get, then this should happen. That is, if someone goes there to this sign up page using a button or a link or whatever, then they should be viewing this form. So that's the first thing. Else, meaning if the request is post, something else should happen. We're gonna check if request.post. Well, I have Amazon here all the way, but I'm gonna type it anyways. If request.post well, let's just I can't resist. Okay, so if the value inside the password one field, and we saw where it is, this one, right? We checked, and the name is password one. Where was that? Here, password one, right? So we can get access to it. We can say if request.post of password one, because it's a dictionary, this is the key to the dictionary. If the value of this is equal to request.post password 2, so basically the value in password 1 and password 2 are the same, then do something. I'm going to get rid of this here. What should I do? Well, I'm going to say user, create a user variable, and that user is going to be this user. And by the way, we already need to import this, so it was imported automatically from django.contrib.auth.models, import user, uppercase U, and from django.contrib.auth, import login. Okay, so now we're going to say user.objects.create user. So we're going to create a user, and that user is going to have a username, which they have already inserted, and they're going to have a password which is equal to the value in the first field of passwords. So they're going to have a username and they're going to have a password, and that username will be created. And once we have this, we're going to say user.save. So you're going to save or insert that information into a database. And when you have done that, I want you to log in automatically right after submission, submitting that form. Everything is correct. Log in and it takes a request parameter and the user. So it's going to log in using that user's information. But where should it go? I would say return redirect to home, and home was the name of our homepage inside the URLs here, right? So that is where it was. So now we need to import redirect. So right after render, import redirect. So now everything should be good. Everything should be good, well, so far, because now we need to make sure what happens if they don't match, what happens if the username exists already. So that is something that we'll deal with anyways now. So let's go to, oh, what is this error here? Oh yeah, okay, let's get rid of that, and yes, that should be good. So Control S. Okay. So now I'm going to refresh and I'm going to create a user here. Let's not call it VI, and I'm going to give it a password and sign up. And let's see where I go when I click. Look, I go to the home page. Perfect. I am already signed in now. I've logged in already. Now, what if I go to the admin page now? Look what happens. It says you are authenticated as V, but are not authorized to access this page. Of course, this is only for the admin. So I have an account here with admin. Let's take a look at our users here. We have two. Well, this is what I did before, so I'm going to delete that guy. Sorry, V. So we have V as our user. If we click on it, you can see the password is hashed and everything looks great. Okay, so now we are logged in here as this guy. Now we should make sure that everything, we also deal with errors. So now let's go back. I'm going to get rid of this one here. That's a very long one. Okay. Now here, let's see what happens if the passwords do not match. Right, so we had this, if the passwords match, then create this user. What else? What if they don't match? So we create an else statement, which is going to return the HTML page, and this time it's going to return this context, this dictionary, which says form is going to be creation form, just like before. But this time I have access to an error key, which says passwords do not match. Remember, this is only returned if this is not true, if passwords do not match. Then I'm creating an else statement, return the sign up and form, everything as before, only now in my HTML page I have access to an error. So now let's use this error now. So let's go to our sign up HTML and right here above the card text, I'm going to add right above the card text, I'm going to add this line of code. So I'm going to say if, and an if statement, remember, with curly braces and percentage sign. If error, that is, if an error exists in the dictionary that are received, in the context that are received from the views. And let's just end the error here before I forget. And if an error exists, I want you to create a, let's call it, I don't know, H, for example, 6.alert class, which is a bootstrap alert. And that is going to be alert dash warning, maybe, and, or maybe danger. Yeah, danger. It's going to have an margin top of, for example, 5, and it's going to give me the error, because now I have access to error. So only if the error exists, run this thing here. So let's go back and refresh, and let's go to accounts, what was that, sign up here, and we have this form. It looks very good. So I'm going to say, okay, let's like G password, this password, and obviously they do not match. Passwords do not match. Awesome, beautiful. So this is good. Now what if, let's deal with another error now. What if the user already exists? What then? So in that case, we are going to use integrity error. So we are going to check our database from, or not that one, from Django.db, Django.import, yes, integrity error. So this is an integrity error basically. So these errors are identified from database. That is, if the username exists, then this error should be thrown. So integrity error, remember this. So this was only for checking the passwords. If they match, go on. So I want to say, okay, if they match, go on and try something. First, try this. Try all this. Perfect. If all good, try this. But if something goes wrong, that is, if the user already exists, meaning there is an error in the database and an integrity error, so we are going to deal with this error like so. How? We are going to say, if there's an integrity error, even if passwords match, return this. Sign up, HTML, all the same. Everything is the same. Form, error, but this time the error says username already exists. So now the content of the error would only change. That's it. So Control S, let's save this and go back. I'm going to refresh and let's just go. Oops, why did I do that? Okay, accounts, sign up. And now I'm going to choose a username that exists. And remember, V already existed. So now the password is okay. And username already exists. So that was also how you could deal with this. Perfect. Now the only thing that remains is this kind of styling, so I'm going to get rid of these. So this is the help text basically. So we're going to edit this user creation form. So this, where is that? This user creation form that we have all the way here and also here. So we are going to edit this. I'm going to create my own form using this user creation form. So inside accounts, right here, let's create a file, call it forms.py. So inside the same, inside this directory here. So, and I'm going to, let's just copy this, all of it, user creation form. And I'm just going to copy this. This is the only thing we need. I'm going to create a class, and this class is going to be account update form. Yeah, actually we can do that. Account update form, which is subclassing or using this class of user creation form, but it's gonna extend it. So first, let's, thank you so much, Amazon. So we need this constructor, which initializes this. We get a super, and inside a super, let's have our account here, and let's add this self as well to it. So yeah, all is good here. So this is something you need to do. You don't need to know exactly why you do this, but it's basically object-oriented programming. So yeah. Now under this, what I'm gonna add is I'm gonna go through the field names that are username, password 1 and 2, and I'm gonna set the help text to none. So I'm gonna say for, let's see, oh yes, thank you. So for field name in username, password 1, password 2, remember these were the names. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say self.fields, field name, that is username for example, dot help text to none. Set each of them, the help text for each, to none. that should be good enough almost, but I'm gonna add this as well. Oh wow, look at this, beautiful. Okay, so let me explain what it does. So what it does is it's going to update the attributes, the class for these fields. I'm going to add a class of form control, which is basically a bootstrap class, to these fields so that they are styled using bootstrap styling. That's basically it, what it means. So now that we have updated this form, we are going to use it inside our views, and right here, instead of this, I can simply say from dot forms, that is not this one, from dot forms, that is the same directory, the forms here in the same directory, import, it was called account update form. I don't know why, yeah, but account update form. So that is going to be the new form that I'm going to use, and I'm going to replace user creation form with that new form. So here and here, I guess that's it. Okay, so let's save this and go back and refresh. And look at this, much better. So it just needs to be styled and centered, and that's it. So yes, that is great. Okay, that was it for this episode. In the next episode, I will also talk about logging in and how to add validation and all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much for watching and listening.